Here in North Atlanta. Atlanta's, everyone says, where are you from? Atlanta. Well, I'm North Atlanta, about an hour north of Atlanta. In the business 6 years, in February. Um, yeah, I mean, so Georgia's my home, north of Atlanta, uh, in the mountains and on the lake. So that's home.
Okay. Okay. Well, and I hear you say, 6 years you've been in the business. Now, again, you're excelling at a level that uh, most are not. Most are not. And I think regardless of whether, I think you're excited about the numbers and the achievements that you've made. As I look at the numbers, I mean, knowing that the average agent in America only closes 4.9, let's round it up to 5 units, right? You did 49 units, and right now I'm looking at your business, and you're already tracking to do at least to meet or exceed those numbers in a time that we hear it's so challenging, right? We're about to experience, in August, again, a major shift, right? What's been your secret to this level of success, especially in an area like Atlanta where there's so many of us, right? And I'm
There's a lot
talking,
of agency land.
right?
Yeah.
There's a lot. So, what is it? What keeps you grounded? What keeps you focused? What is it?
Well, Ben, I'm fortunate to have met you, so thank you for inviting me to be here and to share with your folks. Man, I keep it very simple. I don't overcomplicate things. I think we as agents have a tendency to give ourselves enough time in something just to fail at it, and not enough time to be successful at it. And so, if there's a superpower that I've got, it is that I keep it simple, man. I don't overcomplicate things. I make my calls. I do my follow-ups. I spend 2.7% of my income on marketing. So my marketing's 2.7%. I'm 68% listing heavy. I'm a 68% listing agent. And I know this because I was on a call yesterday where I had to have my P&L. And they're like, man, you're not spending enough money. You're not spending enough money. And I've always been prospecting based, marketing enhanced. I've always been that from day one. And early on, and you and I touched on this a little bit. Early on, my focus was expireds and for sale by owners. That's what my focus was. Now it's kind of turned into repeat referral sign calls for sale by owners. So for sale by owners was the number one source of my business. Now it's the fourth. Um, but being consistent, and I tell folks, man, be in intensity versus consistency. You need to be consistent. Don't try to make up for lost time. You can't make up for lost time, and being consistent every day, early on, and just tell me to shut up when I need to stop. Early
Keep
on,
going.
yeah, early on, my conversation goal was 25 conversations. Like the first week I got into business, they're going through the 90-day challenge, and for me to hit my goals, the first 8 months I did $7 million, 28 deals, first 8 months. And the way that I did that was 25 calls a day, 25 calls a day. And then the next goal, the little goal that I had in my mind was, I'm going to sneak and call until I get an appointment. I'm not stopping. How many calls did you make? I don't know. I didn't stop until I made an appointment. And so just keeping it very simple and not overcomplicating things and not looking for the easy button. We all do that, and you get tempted to do that. But man, if you just get out there, and I was listening to something today on the MREA podcast. If you guys haven't listened to that, that's a great one. It was know your words, like know your words, know your conversations, right? Put in the time to do it and have enough people to talk to. That's it. And if we keep it that simple, man, know your conversations, put in the time to do it, open houses, door knocking, sphere of influence, whatever it is, and then have enough people in your database to do that with, we're going to be fine. We're going to do 40, 25, 40 units a year just on that, and not making it overly complicated, and be profitable, and have some money at the end of the day.
Wow. Wow. Again, my my favorite bold law is success is simple, not easy. And I think that aligns perfectly with you, just keeping it simple, keeping it consistent. I think you touched on something that I self-discovered about 3 years ago, and I think Keller Williams has too. I've now seen us move away from our what was that, our Club 201. And I think the premise behind that was we need more people in our world. We need more people in our database. And if we're consistently marketing to them, then we're going to get business from it. I think you're a shining example of that, and making your calls. I don't believe that my child is on this call today, but sometimes it's crazy. I have to remind him to get on, because there's always a nugget. And if he was on here today, he would have already heard the nugget. It's got to be consistent. You got to make your calls. You've got to establish and nurture those relationships. And again, thank you for sharing that. Those 25 calls, again, I think if I'm remembering correctly, I mean, you were Rookie of the Year in a massive area, massive office. And was it all about just doing what you were told, being learning based, making those 25 calls, or was there a little extra? Was there a little cherry on the top somewhere that also made the difference for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I was intentional when I first got here, right? Do nothing about what I should be doing, nothing about what good is. I didn't know what a strong agent was or a weak. I had no idea. I had no, when they sell $1 million or $5 million, it sounds like a lot of money we've never done it before, right? And so I realized that, man, there are people here doing hundreds of millions or 50 million. And so what I was very intentional about finding those folks, and I would chase them out into the parking lot. I would take them to lunch. You know, they can buy their own lunch, right? So I realized I got to get them on the way to their car if they're going to give me any time. I got to get them on the way to the car. And so I was fortunate enough to have people I was reaching up. Right? And I was fortunate enough to have folks that kind of became my tribe, so to speak. Now
Yes.
we feed on one another. You mentioned Susan earlier. She's one of my best friends, and I've known her for 6 years. And she's a few years ahead of me. She's in it 9 years now, and so she and I speak almost every day.
Yep.
And it's a competition, but it's a competition where if she succeeds, I'm happy for her.
Absolutely.
It's not that I'm lacking, or if I succeed, she's happy for me, right? So if there was another little silver bullet, being intentional, don't be afraid to reach out to those agents, you know, put yourself out there, and those other agents, they're human. They're going to want to help most of the time.
I love the fact that, again, she introduced us, because she's like, and she specifically said, Ben, here's another eagle. And I love that, because she's a shining example. And I think Susan was on, Christina, if I'm wrong, I mean, she was on, I feel like it was just 3 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago. And again, just like you, man, she brought the meat that week. So she's good, people. So your office and our whole ecosystem, I think you guys, your office is number one in our system. And again, I think we got 800 offices around the world, and you're in the number one office. What makes that office, what makes it special? Again, I know you've got other Eagles like Susan, but is there something else that that pushes you guys well ahead? Because I think here at Dallas Preston Road, I think we're number 25 in the system, and you guys are number one. What is that
I,
all
would- I would say it's consistent across the top agents here, that it's not a competition. It's not we're helping each other. We're all learning based. And it's just the vibe that we get here, man. It's just, it's not a threatening thing. I don't feel like someone's going to take business from me. And it's, we're teaching all the time. We've got great classes. Everyone's here. I mean, I'm here all the time. I'm probably here more than I should be, you know. I would also say the leadership has been very consistent. We've been fortunate to have an MCA, the team leader, the general manager. They've been a consistent theme. We've had the same MCA and assistant MCA since I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's normal, but
It's not.
it's constant, like a constant leadership The OP's been the same guy. So I'd say with that, that has a lot to do with it. And they invite great speakers in, and they teach us to think big. Now we're going through investing, and it's just an atmosphere of plenty. It's not about the money. We know it's not about the money. It's about what you can do with it. But just the standards and the expectations of the office are pretty consistent with that of Gary's and what KW, promotes.
Absolutely. Again, you went right back to consistency. I love the fact that as a newer agent, and I think even as an agent today, after doing this, I feel like my entire adult life, I still seek out top pros. That's why you're here. I'm having dinner tonight. Christy Lott, she honored us by putting together a group when we were in Phoenix, just breaking bread, and hopefully we're going to be able to do a few things, I think, in the next couple of months in Austin, to really just get a group together, and because I think we can learn so much when we're not in the hustle or bustle of 12 to 13,000 people there, at the convention center in Austin, but just be able to break off in smaller groups. And again, I see a couple of newer agents here, and I would suggest that, again, you do the same. Do not be bashful. Don't be a secret agent. Show up, be involved, be engaged. That alone will help you already surpass the average, because we already know only 10% of new hires in this business even make it through their first full year. And if you're not learning based, if you're not passionate about this service, if you're in it for the money, you'll never make any. And make sure you surround yourself with other Eagles who are flying high and who are happy to share. Because like you said, it's not a competition. I think it's collaboration all day. And that's what separates us from others out there. So,
well, and I think of, like, when I talk to folks that, we all got our core values, and we know the Y4C2Ts, we know God, family, business. I mean, that's Keller Williams, right? So for me, I think through it in honesty, loyalty, grit, growth-minded family. Honesty, loyalty, grit, growth-minded family. And so those are the cats that I'd like to be around, right? And so those are the people that I want to help. Those are the people that I don't mind pouring into. Those are the folks that I want to break bread with, right? Those are the people that I want to welcome into my world, right? Because if you're honest, loyal, gritty, and you value family and you're growth minded, man, right? That's strong, and that helps build up, and it's a collaboration of all. And if you're surrounding yourself with folks with the same type of values you've got, then you're going to pick up a nugget from Ben. You're going to pick up a nugget from Steven or Christina. You're going to pick up those things, whether you're looking for it or not.
yes.
And then now you just add one little thing, or add one little thing that Ben does that I don't do. But I know where it's coming from. If he's honest, loyal, gritty, growth-minded, and values family, I know it's going to fit into it's going to fit into my toolkit.
I love that. That's a great toolkit. Wow. I think that's a tri or a quadruple perfecta. So thanks for sharing that. You said add one more. Like I said, you might, Michelle might pick up something from Steven, and Christina might pick up something from Brian, and Kennedy might pick up something. What are those some things? And I like to call it, what's your velvet rope? You might have started with this, and maybe it's matured into this. Where does the bulk of your business come from? Because I already know, your numbers, right? And I can tell you, for me, upwards of 80+% come from my database, right? And then I know that my farm area might account for, 7 to 10% if I look at the numbers. Where does it come from? What's your velvet rope?
So mine are repeat referrals, sign calls, and then 4 sub owners. Repeat referrals, sign calls, 4 sub owners. And you and I touched on this just a little bit ago. 4 sub owners were the number one source for maybe 2 years. And now we've done, in the past 2 years, past 24 months, $12 million worth of 4 sub owners. So it's not a huge part of it, but it's still enough. I mean, I've got $2 million worth of listings now from 4 sub owners, right? So I still enjoy those. I still enjoy those conversations. But they're not as much, it's not as heavy in that as it was earlier on, just because things change and you've got repeat clients and the families of previous clients. I mean, it's a little bit diluted now,
But
it's
again,
still a good big part of
12
the
million,
business.
12 million. I mean, I haven't done And for sale by owners, Brian, I haven't done 2 million in plus 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's something, again, it's not a pillar for me at all.
Well, this is what I would, my thoughts are with that. They've already got their hands up.
Yes.
And this is the way that my brain works. The need doesn't dissolve if I don't perform. And I think that way with my database too. Their need for me doesn't dissolve if I don't perform. And I think of it like this. I don't eat McDonald's, but we all know who McDonald's is. We know who they are. If McDonald's stopped selling hamburgers tomorrow, how many of us would not eat? We would all still eat, right? If they go away, we would all still eat. And so if Ben doesn't do his job, if Ben does not do his job, that previous client, that potential business doesn't go away. It just goes to somebody else. And so I look at those 4-star buy owners, whether they use me or not. Man, there's a need there. We know that 90% of them are going to list. We know that 9 out of 10 of them are going to list. The need doesn't go away if I call them or not. It's going to be listed with somebody else 9 times out of 10. Why should it not at least be me? Why should I not at least put my name in the hat? And so now the 4-star owners that I go after are the ones that are in my immediate area, ones that I think are neat, ones that I think are priced reasonably, ones that are in fair enough condition. You know, so I'm a little bit more selective on them. Early on, man, I would go like, if you've got I keep a sign in my truck. I literally keep a sign in my truck. And I tell that 4-star owner, before I leave, I'm taking your sign, I'm putting my sign out. And I had a collection of signs for years. I had a big collection of 4-star owner signs in my garage. I ended up throwing them away because it was a game. And I would, jokingly, but I was serious as a heart attack. I'm taking that sign today when I leave, when you list with me. Okay. You know, but yeah, I mean, just if we know 9 out of 10 of them are going to list, why would we not at least try? And it's just like with anything else. The door knocking, okay. If we call expireds, or do we door knock expireds? Right? What the similar conversation, other than you can't get hung up on by a door knock, right? But how many people door knock expireds? It's a very empty room. And so you're not competing. So if you want to remove the competition, if you want to remove competing with 200 agents who's called that expired today, go knock on the door. And in the conversations, hey, are you still selling your house? Yeah, I'm still selling it. I know you probably get 8 million calls today. I wanted to show you my value. I wanted to show you how enthusiastic I am about helping you get this sold by coming to see you. How many other agents have come to see you? None. So I've separated myself already.
Already.
And you don't have to overcomplicate the conversation, is all I'm saying. By strictly showing up, you're going to separate yourself from everyone else.
And again, Brian, you're showing up. You know, I tell folks I've never done it because it's not been in my wheelhouse. In the area that I work, there are very few that are here, maybe that I'm aware of, and I think that in 2024, if there was somebody on my radar, I don't think that I would be bashful now at going after them and showing what I can do, bringing the value. So I appreciate you highlighting that, because again, I don't need to be afraid of it. And I'm not. It's not one of my pillars, right? For me, and I think everyone on here, except for a couple of the new agents, they're probably not really aware of what their pillars are. And for me, it's my database, it's my farm area, right? It's my events, and it's my agent to agent referrals from around the country. And I'm now including you into that mix because I think it's important that you know what those pillars are. And I have 4. Some agents have 2 or 3. It sounds like you've got at least 4 that, right, are close to it. So know what your pillars are. And again, I think know your numbers. I love the fact that you already know that roughly about 2.7 percent of I'd say your money goes toward marketing. And I think you said that your coach says that you need to increase that. I know that, mine is significantly more than that. And I think that Christina and we're going to be working at trying to shave a few of those dollars off, because I'm going to move them in a different direction. So know your numbers, guys. I appreciate you sharing that. And again, you know what? See, our time it's already growing close. What else, Brian, is there that you would love for us to know, either about you, about that Atlanta area, or something that might make a difference for someone on the call today?
Well, I mean, I would say to get back to it, Ben, is to be consistent. And I like to think of it like this. If people that you contact are going to believe in you half as much as you believe in yourself, right? They're going to believe in you half as much as you believe in yourself. And so if you go in and you're half full, if you go in half full, man, that's not a good way to go in. It's kind of like going and taking a test. Have you ever walked in, Ben, and you've gone to take a test and you've not been prepared? Man, it's not a good feeling, man. It's not a good feeling. I was a bad student, so I've felt like that all the time. So, but being prepared makes you go in with a little bit of swag, a little bit of swagger, ready to take. I'm going to dominate this test. And so, having those conversations, having getting at bats, getting better at seeing the pitches, is what we do every day, man. And so, if we're not having conversations with folks, and we're not challenging ourselves to get to know the agents that are doing what we need to do, if we don't have that little bit of an elevator speech, and it doesn't have to be much,
Right.
it doesn't have to be much, but that confidence and knowing in your mind, and I think of it like this too. If I know I'm the guy for Ben, like if I know I'm the guy for Ben, then he may think I am. If I know, he may think. If I think, he may wonder. Does that make sense? If I know I'm the guy he thinks I am, if I go in thinking I am, I think I could get that done, then Ben's going to wonder if I am. So that's how in my mind, I want to prepare, knowing I'm the guy. I am the best agent for this property. There's no question about it. Now you might not believe it,
Right.
but I believe it.
There you go.
Right?
And
Anyway,
you said perform, which reminds me that, I think we succeed to the level of our preparation and or performance. My son has heard me say that I surprise a lot of people because they think that I'm this, I'm an extrovert to the highest level, and that's really not the case. When it comes to real estate, I am. I know that it's showtime and I have to flip that switch on. And again, because I am prepared, I've practiced, right? I now can perform at a very high level because that's where we succeed, right? We don't succeed to where we want to be in our mind. We succeed to the level of our preparation. And I've heard you now say it a number of times. And so I hope everyone on the call gets that. You've got to be prepared, right? You've got to know your numbers. And I think you've got to know who you are and the value that you can bring to the table. So score, touchdown, whoop, 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 right?
and I had someone I was in one of those masterminds, and the speaker asks, what are y'all's value propositions? Right? The speaker asked that. And the answers around the room, even my answer was, well, I know the market. I'm a good negotiator. I field my phone calls well. I have a great relationship with other agents. I know how to price homes. I know how to stage homes. I've got a good photographer. And that's what everyone was saying. So that's the answers throughout the room. And the speaker said, well, okay, these are all great, but is that a value add or is that an expectation? No one has ever been hired without having that expectation for them. And bad agents get hired every day that expectation is given to them, but they haven't earned it yet. And so we've got to think about, not only are we going to meet those expectations, but what is our value add on top of that? Because Ben's hired every day expecting him to know the market, to have professional photography done, to know how to negotiate, to know the contracts, to have a good title company. That's an expectation. So we've got to think on above and beyond what the expectations are.
Amen. Amen. Wow. And I think you were in that room. And again, I'm going to say it again. Sometimes we've got to get in the room. We've got to place ourselves in uncomfortableness, right? To where we know that I'm not the smartest guy in this room. And that's where I want to be. I want to be with others that I'm like, man, I don't even deserve to be in this room, but I'm here. Damn it. Right?
Are you sure? Are you some of them sneaking in? I'm sneaking in.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I think the first time I attended Gary's mastermind, I'm like, am I even supposed to be here? Nobody's stopping me at the front door. I'm in.
They
So
got my name on the badge. I guess I'm at the right
absolutely.
place.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to kick me out now that I've been in it. So there was one question. Christina, what did Alex ask?
Brian already answered it, but Alex was asking what time of day would you start door knocking expired? It's mornings or afternoons?
All right, so Alex, that would depend if it's an expired that I want. Like I'm gonna chew off my arm if I don't get it. I'm gonna be there at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be in the cul-de-sac waiting on them to come home. I'm gonna know when they get there. I'm gonna know what they drive. Okay, we as an industry, people make us earn their yeses, right? People make us earn their yes, right? They just don't give it to you. They make you earn the yes. And so if we have it in our mind where we're gonna make them earn the no, I'm not going to assume the no. I'm not going to give you the no. I'm not going to concede the no. I'm not going to guess you're going to tell me no. I'm going to make you earn the no. If you're making me earn the yes, I'm making you earn the no. So that's how my brain works. So anytime, anywhere, any place, I'm going to go by that expired. I'm going to door knock it if they're not there. I'm going to save it in my phone. I'm going to save that contact information in my phone. I'm going to make a note of what time I went by there, what time of day it was. Did I leave a note on the car? Did I stick a note in the garage or whatever on the front door? And I'm going to save it. And then when they call me back or when they don't call me back, I know, okay, how many times have we made calls and someone calls us back and we go, I'm sorry, I don't remember calling you. We've all done that if you've made any kind of phone calls. And so anytime I make a call out to an expired or for sub owner, I save their contact number in my phone. I label it for sub owner. I take a picture of the house, save it as the contact. I take the consumer link and I save that consumer link and I put it in their contact list. Right? So when they call, it says Ben, for sub owner, picture of his house. I know that I called and left Ben a message 4 days ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago. I've got a link to his property in the contact. Right? So you don't have that awkward, I'm sorry, I don't remember who I called. Who is this again? Are you selling a house? Well, that sets off, I'm not competent. I'm not prepared. I'm not your guy. And that could be for any expired, neighbor, door knock, open house participant. I save them all in my phone. So when they call me back, I know who I'm talking to and I know where I saw them. I made a note of what our conversations were.
Brian, I thank you again for your presence and bringing the meat this week. I can tell you this, I've got, because you can't see this because of my background, but I keep notes, and I can tell you, I love that. It doesn't matter if it's expireds or for sale by owners or even a referral from a trusted advocate, that the need doesn't dissolve if you don't perform. I love that. And I can tell you, I love that we have to earn yeses. And I think that's a unique way, great word choice of what we do day in and day out. We're said no to constantly, but we have to earn those yeses, right? So I appreciate you sharing that because that's resonating with me, because today I have to go earn a yes because this past week was difficult. You know what? And as a mega producer in this business who operates from abundance, not scarcity. Next. Who's up next? Who's out there?
I got one little nugget.
Yes.
So you will make a fortune in this business with the almost gots. Or the almost didn't gets. Man, Ben, almost didn't get that one. Almost didn't get. But means you got it. And the almost gots, you'll starve to death. Man, I almost got that one. Man, I almost got that one. Man, I almost got that one. You'll starve to death on the almost gots. You'll make a fortune on the almost didn't gets.
Yes.
Man, yeah. Ben, almost didn't get that one, baby. Almost didn't get that one, but I got it.